Hello and welcome to another Struggling Artist Turntable episode. This one is for November of 2024. With me, as always, we have Jeff Bousquet and Chris Chavez, all the way out there in Buffalo. This is your second one back, right? Second time we've been back since
I believe so. Since
the
return.
Ago. Yeah, I thought we were gonna lose you a few minutes ago because you just disappeared on us.
Yeah, so it's super windy out here, and when it's this windy, the Wi-Fi goes in and out, and it went out. That's why I was like, give it a minute. I'll be back on in a second.
Why is your Wi-Fi set up like you live in the woods, dude? You live in a city.
I don't live in the city. I'm outside the city, but yeah, dude, it's just I don't know. I'm not a fan of our service, and we don't have any good options out here, so. Yeah, it's either Verizon or Spectrum, and they both suck.
That could be the same thing. You could say that for basically everything in this country right now.
Yeah.
No. Or Chris, if it's not extended health downfalls, it's your Wi-Fi just trying to fighting you every step of the way. Something's fighting you every step of the way, man.
I had flashbacks of the blackout. Remember?
Oh yeah, during the storms. Yeah,
and then you were sick like right after that. I was like, oh no, history. Hopefully, history doesn't repeat itself with that.
Like I said, if I get knocked out, I'll be back. Don't worry.
Yeah. So it's another month. It's time for a turntable. We took a poll, but before we get into all that, Chris, would you mind telling us what we're doing here today?
We're talking about albums, music picks. Yeah, I mean, it used to be Bandcamp centered, but now it's just we're just featuring albums and artists that we're excited about. Usually we open with the local and then the X Factor, which, like you said, we put out to the people to decide what they want to hear us talk about. But it's a challenge. The challenge is to try to find something that fits the theme of the X Factor.
Yeah, and I feel like there was some liberties taken this time, but I know
I don't think so.
I know it will fit.
I don't think so.
I think there was some creativity used this time. I think there was some thinking outside the box.
There was. I thought this would be a lot easier,
creative,
and maybe I'm just bitter because I wanted we'll get into that. How is everybody doing? How are we feeling? What's been going on in our worlds? Jeff, anything new?
No, not too much. I'm ripping a little solo show at the Sill on Monday, November 11th. I can promo this again later, but
yes, our show has been nominated for a Boston Music Award again. We are a 3-time nominee. The reason why I'm saying our show is because, as we all know, Chris is the producer of the Struggling Artist Podcast, but now Jeff is also a producer of the Struggling Artist Podcast, and I want to thank you for joining, officially joining it. You know what I mean?
Cool.
I
mean, I'm humbled. I'm proud of you though. I think this is the year that you win, hopefully.
Oh no, we'll see.
I think so. You'll have to actually go this time, Trev. You missed the last two, right?
Yeah, I got COVID both times.
So live in a bubble for now, for a little while.
I actually think I'm working the night of the show, which means
of course.
I'll send Jeff as our representative with a free ticket and everything. So if he wants to go. So we're nominated for another Boston Music Award. This is our 3rd time. I kind of want to, you know, when you would buy a book and it's got the little, I don't know, salutation thing in the corner with the little, looks like a sun almost. And it says bestseller or whatever.
Scholastic Book Award or something.
Yeah. I want one for the graphic on the podcast that says 3-time nominee Boston Music Awards or something.
I got you.
Yeah.
Chris,
come up with something. Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun to do.
I told Trev we should do a cheesy photo the next time you're in town with Trev in the middle and you and I on either side, the back to back.
I love it.
Yeah. So, Chris, what's been up with you? You've been feeling better, you said, and what's new in your world? How's the podcast doing?
Podcast is going well. Just spoke with the singer of Pretty Good State University. Tobias was on the show
They had
this
some
past
choice
week.
words for me on social
It'll be
media.
it'll be coming out. It'll be coming out in like 2 to 3 weeks. I think. I think it's slated for 3 weeks from now. Well, actually, when people are listening to this, it might be. It actually might be that same weekend. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, listen for it. It was a good time. He's a pretty cool dude, and that's about it, man. Yeah, I'm feeling better, and as much as I can be, I'm waiting to get some news on what surgery is going to look like. So, other than that, yeah, just listening to new music, finding new stuff all the time, enjoying it.
Yeah, you are. I get. I don't know if you get emails for the people you follow on Bandcamp, but I do. Mainly, I get them from you. Like, I get emails from like what you pick because I don't know. Bandcamp wants me to know.
Yeah.
You, Arya from Coffin Salesman, and then someone else, and I don't know who it is, but we follow each other, and
Yeah.
like we've gotten the virtual fist bumps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
Do you know that? No. So with Bandcamp, and I don't know if it does it automatically or if like you have to click it because I don't know. But I think it's if you go through someone's page, like if you go to my profile, right, and you find an album on there, and you click on the album through my profile, and you purchase that album, it sends me a virtual fist bump or a high five or whatever, like saying like, hey, this person discovered it because of you.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever bought anything off my page then, because
No,
I've
probably
not gotten one.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone can have impeccable taste like me. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. So here we are. We're doing our Bandcamp or our turntable, right? Struggling artist turntable. You have to forgive me. I just woke up. I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep. We'll get there. We will get there, folks. All right. So we took a poll, as we have been doing in the past. And what was everyone's pick? Jeff, what was yours? Do you remember?
You know, I don't remember.
I don't remember. I had it written down, and I think I threw the paper away. Chris, do you remember yours?
I really don't remember either. Did I say something about food?
I think we did it on a cusp last time. We came up with it on the fly, which is what we've been doing. But
right. I just didn't write it down. All right. Well, I'll tell you which one won. Mine, and I had picked bands that wear makeup or costumes, right?
Masks.
Bands or
makeup.
artists, yeah.
Masks. Sorry, masks. Makeup or bands or artists that wear makeup or masks. And we got some picks for that. And we'll get to that towards the end of the show. And I think we're going to start with our local picks. We'll be right back. Back, and we are here to talk about our local picks. I can't wait to talk about one of these local picks. Well, no, both of them, because I really enjoyed them both. And I enjoyed mine. All right, I liked all three local picks, but mine is mine, right? It's mine. We'll start with mine. Out of Burlington, Vermont, we have the woman-fronted Violet Crimes hardcore band, melodic hardcore band, maybe, out of Vermont, and the album was called Fighting Words. I discovered this band on Instagram. I think they did a show with Linnea's Garden, and that's how I saw it. I'm here for it. I liked it a lot. I bought everything they had at the moment. I went on their Bandcamp and grabbed all their stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's got some energy behind it. It's got some meaning behind it, and I dig that. It's something. I hope they come around again. I'd like to check them out. I might even like to have them on the show at some point too, because I don't know. I've been digging a lot of like woman-fronted hardcore or power violence as of late, and this is no exception. They're right there with everything I've been listening to. So, big fan.
Nice. So this is what I wrote down for Violent Crimes. I didn't get the hardcore really, or well, obviously not power violence because that's not what they were. But I got straightforward, fast, and catchy grunge punk rock is what I said, because there was moments in listening to the album where it felt almost like flashbacks to grunge from the 90s, like some of the woman fronted grunge bands. So, but it was the melodic way they were playing, certain things. I said the more I listen, the more I like. The band is tight too, like legit tight, like stop on a dime tight, all at the same time. And yeah, you could do that post production, and maybe that is how it is, but it sounds tight. You know what I mean? I put that I dig them. I really enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, I was into this too. I like the name first of all, and the name of the record. So definitely some political protest punk lyrics in there. I thought the when you first kick off listening to it, that first track comes in, and you think for a minute it's going to be something that it isn't. And I think that's where they fit quite well into the description of melodic hardcore, because the music is hardcore. The music is heavy, and then but rather than screaming, you've got the more melodic vocals. One thing that I thought was really interesting, I immediately went to look and see where they were from, because when we, like, for people listening, when we share music with each other, we post a link straight to it in a group chat usually, and then we can click on it and go listen on Bandcamp. But like, I don't always pay attention right away to exactly where every artist is from. And I thought it was real cool that these guys are from Burlington, Vermont. It's definitely not a city that gets associated with the hardcore sound very much. It's a city and a state that gets associated with, of course, a lot of folk rock and singer songwriter stuff, and stoner rock and jam bands,
Ben and Jerry's,
jam bands and things like that. And so I think it's really cool that there's some punk happening up there. Don't know where all these guys are from. I know a lot of people in the Burlington draws a lot of students and like people there from different areas of the country and different areas of the world that come together there for like schooling and stuff like that. So who knows? I don't know where they're all from, but cool to know that there's like some punk scene stuff happening up there. The vocalist, her vocals actually the timbre of her voice reminded me a little bit of Helen from One Fall. In fact, their sound overall has some similarities with One Fall, but One Fall leans definitely more metal, I would say. A little more like heavier, like metal, like metalcore riffs in there and stuff like that with One Fall. But this band had some similarities. Insane guitar licks. The band, like you said, Chris, incredibly tight. Really, really just like on point. The only thing I kind of didn't like about this was I felt like the vocals maybe could have been a little wetter, like a little more affected. They were a little dry, which typically with hard punk and hardcore you wouldn't have a lot of reverb and effects and stuff like that. They definitely did some distortion here, some overdrive on these vocals. But I don't know. I kind of just felt like they wanted to be like a little bit more affected somehow. But I really liked this record. This was really cool. I would love to see this band live.
Yeah.
I've been finding more and more bands on Instagram than anywhere else, which is, I guess, it goes hand in hand with the podcast. You know what I mean? But it's like finally social media's. I'm like, oh yeah, here's its purpose. You know what I mean? Because like I'm not a big fan of it. But I've been actually taking care of the social media recently because when Chris was out, I had to take it over, and like I just keep finding bands from there, and that's pretty cool. Actually, my other pick I found on Instagram as well, so we'll get into that a little bit later. I do, yeah. I want to say, hold on, I'm looking at their Bandcamp now. All right, so Amy's the vocalist, fantastic voice. And it sounds like you're right. The melodic hardcore of it, I kind of like that kind of a mix. You know what I mean? Like where it's like more singing with like the hardcore riffs and. I can't pick a favorite track either. Like it's just good. You can just it's not very long. You can just put it on and like it's so good. Like I don't know. I guess if I had to pick a slap in the face is probably the one I gravitate towards the most when I'm like, because I think I might have even put that on like the struggling artist radio playlist. You know, but it's so good. The whole thing's pretty good. And again, like, yeah, the album cover is awesome. What I saw on Instagram made me go and search them out. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. They got maybe we go to maybe we take a road trip to Burlington at some point if they're playing up there. You know,
I'll come out.
That'd be easier for Chris to meet us.
Yeah, I'll come out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, how would that work?
Kind
Yeah,
of.
you just kind of come across, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a cool. That'd be a fun trip. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be fun. Yeah. So, yeah, Violet Crimes. The album is called Fighting Words. Check it out. Check it out.
Nice.
Yeah. Who's up?
I guess me.
Get it.
Okay. Sorry, I had
A moment.
a brain lapse there for a second.
That's all I have is brilliant.
Yeah, we'll just cut it here. Yeah, so my local pick this month was the Pals and Leisure Boys, which is Matt Murphy's band. They are they are a kind of a, I guess you'd call them sort of a pop punk, fuzzy pop punk band. I like applying the term fuzzy to a lot of different categories of music lately because it's lazy. I'm just being lazy. It's just but no, yeah, they're a pop punk band. Love this EP. This EP was out. It's called About Time, and I think when did they drop this? They dropped this in the spring, a few months ago.
Yep, May.
Yeah, May.
Oh, no,
They released in May 25th. Yeah.
That's because that's May 25th. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. So in a year. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm just reading it right now. There's a cassette, but it's pre-saled for around May 28th, 2025. The album release was May 25th, 2024.
May 25th. Yeah. So it's been out for a couple of months, but I just had a chance to finally like listen to it front to back a few times. Love this record. Love this record with as much fervor as I love the new Massive Nightmares. It's just great. A lot of their riffs, little melody lines and stuff like that, especially in like the first track, Pressed Hams, remind me a little bit of Alkaline Trio. They've got some, definitely got some like big sing-along hooks and stuff like that in there. TKO is like that. Just a super fun band. I think I may have seen them play at Faces once. I don't remember what show that was. They all kind of, some of them, they kind of blur together. But I really want to go see them again. Matt is a wonderful human, super, super nice guy. Such a pleasant group of folks to be around every time that I've been at shows with all of them and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a great record. Check it out. Also be careful if you choose to listen. I don't know about Bandcamp, but if you choose to listen on Spotify, there is another Leisure Boys. Yeah. That is a different band. That is not them. So this record is called About Time, and it's got a cool like paper style art tree on the front of it. It's like an orange and purple tree. I like the cover art on this. It's really interesting, really unique too.
It pops.
Yeah, it's very like comic book / like almost like South Park style paper art. It's neat.
Yeah. We'll have a link on the spreadsheet too, which we'll drop with the episode if you go on the website, which is strugglingartistpodcast.com. Nice little plug. I'm reading the story there. Their Bandcamp says New England Comfy Core.
Core. Yeah.
I like that a lot. So I listened to this morning on my drive home from work, and within the first 10 seconds, I knew that was Matt Murphy, right? Because like his voice is very distinct.
Yes.
And I was like, "Ooh, let me hear how this goes." Because like, you know, did you bring Matt to the turntable before?
I brought one of his solo record, one of his his solo project. Yeah.
And I probably listen to that maybe once a week. if not more. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good one, you know? Usually it's like late at night and then I get lost in my thoughts and I put that on and I'm like, okay, I got to come out of this, you know? It's good stuff. So hearing he was, what was the other band he was it Tied to a Bear? He was in
Tied to a Bear. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So
I played with him. I had the pleasure of playing with him
that's awesome.
at Winter Hill, and then had kind of dove into his solo stuff after that.
Yeah, yeah. So I was familiar with his work leading into this. This was a lot of fun. It was cool to hear, like, I don't know, like his voice, the way, because his voice, like, you can hear, like, with Salt in his solo stuff that I've heard, like, you can really hear, like, the sadness in his voice, right? So I kind of, like, when I first started listening, like, I kind of associated it with that. But then, like, this album is like kind of like it's a little more upbeat, you know what I mean? And there's a lot going on, and like I was like, oh, this works with this too, you know what I mean? Like his voice can kind of go either way, and I like that. Yeah, I was digging this one all the way. You know, I listened to it twice. It's not very long, so I had a chance to check it out twice on my way home. And TKO was a really good song, the one at the end.
Yeah, I think he's referring to Total Knockout. I don't know exactly what TKO is referring to in the context of that song. It means different things, but I think that's what it's referring to, like a fight, like in a fight. It's a great tune.
Yeah, I liked it. I really did like this, dude. I thought it, like what you said, Trev, it sounded fun. It sounded to me like a bunch of friends sitting around a fire and singing along with a lot of times during this, listening to this. I put that there is like this familiar mix of alternative and indie feel to it too, with some of the arrangements. And I was sitting there and just as I was listening to it, I just kept thinking, man, I really like this. And when I went down, I was like, well, how do they describe themselves? And I saw comfy core. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. This is comfy core. It makes you feel like comfortable, like I know these people, or I'm in a very familiar setting, you know what I mean? It just really exuded this feeling of just like joy. I really enjoyed listening to this. I liked it a lot.
I just excuse me. I just clicked on the tag on Bandcamp under their thing, and they are the only
ones. Yeah. I'm just laughing because I know that that just seems like a total Matt Murphyism. Like that somebody was just like, well, what do you guys call? And he's like, we're just like comfy core.
Yeah.
Like I just just
dude,
picture him saying that.
It was good, dude. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this a lot. I think I bought it. I did buy it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Chris, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. I'm bringing a Buffalo band that I recently discovered as I was putting together music for Struggling Artist Radio on Struggling Artist Patreon. So go check it out, patreon.com/ what is it, podcast TSA, or is that what you call it there?
Patreon.com / podcast TSA. Yeah.
There you go. Go check it out. But yeah, so that's what I do. I like to jump on Bandcamp and search a lot of the local tag and just look through a bunch of Buffalo bands and start trying to find things I haven't heard before and see if there's anything nice that I come across to add to the radio show. And this band I came across in that way, this band called Personal Style. They have some singles and some music out, but their most recent release is a two song release, False Memories, backed with Heartbeat Memorial. As soon as I heard this, I absolutely loved it. When I was I sat down to listen to it again, like just these two songs to be able to write some thoughts down for this. And I wrote down that this is post-punk, high energy, catchy and dancey, raw and vicious, loud and rhythmic. I recently came on these guys for the radio show, so I meant to remind myself of that. But I loved them, dude. Like I absolutely loved this band when I first heard it, and that's just these two songs. I was like, man, I got to see these guys live because it just feels like it's going to be a good time. And both of these songs, they're not exactly the same, right? It almost feels like there's a slight yin and yang to it, but they both have that high energy, almost kind of catchy, dancey feel to them, and raw. I loved them.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. It's the moment I put it on, it gave me like 70s post-punk, like Talking Heads, Wire. Like again, like you were saying, like that high energy make you want to dance kind of stuff. And those are the first two. Like it could fit on a bill with those two bands. You know what I mean? Like I'm a huge fan of the. I mean, I think Talking Heads may be my favorite band of all time. So, and they were in on that early on. So was Wire. And so like when I hear post punk stuff and it sounds like the 70s, like that late 70s style, I'm into it. You know, early 80s and this, yeah, I think this was a good one. This was, well, I can't give that away yet, but yeah, but yeah, no, I dug it. I listened to it a few times. Like you said, both songs have different feels, but still have that thing that they have. You know what I mean? Are they still active? I'm not seeing like any shows.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything like that at all. I started following them on the socials, but I don't know if there's anything coming up.
And like, let's talk about this cool looking.
Oh yeah,
album.
they're playing November 2nd. Oh, at Amy's. I'm going. I gotta try to go.
There you go. So like, let's talk about this album cover real quick. Like it's very 70s rock, right? Like it's
the diamond, the shattered looking diamond.
Yeah, on the black background, and yeah, it's another
or early 80s.
Yeah.
80s,
another fantastic pick coming out of Buffalo.
You can get a physical copy of this 7-inch at deadbrokedistro.com. If you want a physical.
They're on Dead Broke?
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Interesting. Cool. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, I really liked this. I felt like, okay, so it made me nostalgic for something, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But for me, it definitely, I heard a lot of more like 90s alt fuzzy stuff, like, and I couldn't hit, like, I wrote down, like, I'm nostalgic for something. Maybe like the Dandy Warhols, Presidents of the United States, or like something in that vein, was what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, bands influenced by the post-punk of
but
the
it was
70s,
definitely,
big
yeah,
time,
bands that were influenced by earlier stuff, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I really dug it. It kind of had a garage rock, like, you know, a fuzzy garage rock kind of feel, and something about the vocals particularly kind of made me think of like 90s rock bands that like kind of did that thing. There's like almost like a playfulness, but like an energy that was there. The fact that it's only an EP makes me want to hear more, of course, you know, and so let us know how their live show, what their live show is like. And
oh yeah, I've got to try to make it to that.
Sounds cool.
Nice. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, it will be time for the X Factor, and we will reveal. Oh, no, we already revealed. Son of a bitch. When we get back,
We'll reveal our picks.
We're going to reveal our picks for the X Factor. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back with our X Factor picks this month. I won for once. I feel like Chris won every time. He knows how to play to the listener, right? So, the pick was makeup or masks, right? And then the questions, right after it won, and the questions started trickling in from Jeff and Chris. So what about this? What about that? And I was like, you know what? Whatever.
Do you know how many albums and EPs are just named Masks?
Oh, okay. So you meant that's why you asked that in the first, right?
Yeah.
We thought it was okay to just have the theme be makeup or masks.
That's fine. That's fine. We're cool with it. Maybe I just wanted
You just wanted Kiss.
I just wanted see awesome get-ups and stuff, you know. But I like that. I will never put a cap on anybody's creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're here for it. But I will say for my pick, I definitely, and I didn't have this band in mind when I picked it. I think we were just like Jeff had said earlier in the episode, we were just like off the cusp. Like we were like, oh, this, and everyone had a good one, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do this, and it happened to be the one. I will say, we did get some comments. So the way Instagram polls work when they're in your story, the last time I had checked it, I was in the lead by like a lot. And then I went to go check it after it was ended, and you can't see the results. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't like go back and see your own results. So
Screen cap it next time.
So I was like, all right, well, we're just gonna say I won because the last time I looked at it, I was winning. We had some comments about it, and I know, oh man, someone had commented like, don't do masks. They're too many bands have them or something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But
I think that was Aria.
Or like, is it too cliche because it's Halloween time and all that?
Yeah,
but like,
I guess. Yeah, that's not why I did it though. I don't know. So I think, was yours food, Chris?
I think so. I think it was food.
Yeah, because I think that was who. I think it might have been Aria who was like, don't do masks, do food because of this or whatever.
That's funny.
You know. Yeah. So, but I won. So
maybe.
Maybe. All right, so I won. So mine is a band out of, oh man, what part of Canada are they from?
Toronto.
Thank you. Out of Toronto, Canada. A band that I found on Instagram because they were playing with somebody, and I was like, what is that? And I looked at it, like the video, and I'm like, no way this is real. And it's real. And they wear full-on robot costumes. The band is called the Cybertronic Spree. The album I picked was called Ravage.
Not just robot costumes, Transformers. They are Transformers characters.
But I feel like they're not like they are their own, right? They're not.
No, they're all Transformers characters, and their names are Transformers. They're all Transformers.
All right. I didn't know that, nerd.
They're legit Transformers, dude.
Okay, so they wear Transformer.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Hell yes, dude.
They wear Transformer outfits and they go by Transformer names. So it was funny actually, when I was hunting, like I happened to when I was looking for a band that wore masks or makeup, I went through there was a reel real quick of them, and they were playing a guitar with a what is it called? It's like it's a wand, like a sex toy wand, like the big
God,
vibrator,
yeah.
And they were playing guitar with it, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I was like, wait, what's the name of that band again? Because I followed them. And it took me. I had to hunt them down, but I found it, and I was like, let me check out this album called Ravage. Oh my hair metal. This was fantastic. This was like 80s hair metal mixed with synth rock, and I'm here for it. They had different singers at different points. I don't know their names because apparently they're Transformer names. So I can't tell you so it was just I don't know, it was a whole vibe, right? This album's a complete vibe. From, no pun intended with the whole wand thing I just said, from the 80s, and it was really good. It's really well done, right? It almost reminded me of a Steel Panther kind of album, right? Because Steel Panther lays into that 80s hair, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's I guess having a costume was kind of a shtick, right? But if you do it properly, I feel like it's wonderful. Like the picture that I had sent the fellas of the band, at first I thought it was an actual cartoon photo, and then you zoom in on it, you realize that they were just wearing their costumes, and that's just a picture of them. And I dug this album a lot. I thought it was well produced. I mean there wasn't anything that I was I could point out that I was nope, don't like that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna check out more of them. I know they just dropped some, so this wasn't the newest thing on their Bandcamp, but it was the newest full album, I believe, that was on there. The last thing they did, they might have did the Transformer theme song, was like the last.
their rendition of the Transformers theme.
Oh, Chris did a deep dive. All right. Chris, were you a Transformers fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, I grew up watching the Transformers. I had the toys, the Transformers. I absolutely loved it. I love the whole lore of the Transformers, like the whole mythos of it all. So this is what I put down. I wrote down this album, Cybertronic Spree, right? First, Cybertron is where the Transformers are from. That's their actual planet. So that's where Cybertronic Spree comes from. Yeah, I'm schooling you, Trev. No, this is what I wrote down. I wrote, holy fuck. So much 70s, 80s metal glory. One song in and I'm buying this album. Monster riffs, killer leads, and out of this world vocals. Just like the Transformers themselves, I grew up on this kind of music. I love this album. This whole album feels like the soundtrack to a Transformers episode from the 80s, because that's the kind of music they played. It was very 80s hair metal style kind of rock and guitar riffs, and this just puts it on that. Like, as I'm listening to it, I'm just like literally feeling like an adult and kid at the exact same time, but being back watching Transformers. It's phenomenal, dude. I absolutely love this album. Love this album.
So I believe two things. One, my feelings my feelings on shtick are complicated.
Yeah.
But I believe two things. One, if you are gonna be a shtick band, lean all the way into it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, do it. Two, if you're gonna be a shtick band, this is the genre of music that lends itself, I think, probably best to being a shtick band, right? Ghost, you know, like the minute I heard this, like the first pressing play, I immediately pictured, before having even, we discussed this earlier, but I didn't even realize the photo that I missed the photo that Trev sent us. So without even seeing what this band looked like, I immediately pictured outlandish costumes. I hope at least one of them plays on a flying V guitar. I mean, you have to, like, or like a double neck guitar, you know, like one of, like, immediately the imagery that was conjured was, you know, 80s hair metal, glam rock and roll, like big theatrical, sort of vibes. And I immediately wondered, as I started listening to them, like, is this this sounds concept? Is this a concept record? And now that, like, the whole Transformers thing comes into play, because I'm an idiot. I didn't even pick up on the Transformers connection, because it wasn't really a show or toy or whatever that I was particularly into growing up. But I think if you're gonna do shtick, like, do it, lean all the way into it, and pick a particular niche. And I think that's really cool. I don't think there's a lot of bands that are doing Transformers specifically. So I think
No.
I think
this is full on cosplay too, dude.
Yeah, of course. You have to do it all the way. You have to do it all the way. Yeah, lean all the way into it. Don't half-ass your stick, you know. And they definitely do not. So props to them for every part of what they're doing, and also for just being an insanely good band. I picked up also, Trev, on the different singers thing in the beginning, because I was trying to figure out, I was like, this is not the same person singing in every single one of these songs. So what they're doing with the vocals is really neat. I pictured it being just theatrical is the best word I can put into play. Like, you know, I don't know how big they are in Canada, but, like, I imagine them having, like, the pyrotechnics and the set pieces and the crazy light show and the costumes, you know. It's great.
So Toronto's only like an hour and a half from here. So guess who's going to go see them the next time I have a chance, dude?
You have to. Absolutely.
No, they just finished up a month-long tour. Well, I guess they finished up the end of September.
Oh man.
middle of September. But they were in. They went to Hamden, Connecticut. They went to Amherst, Mass. They went to the Cambridge. Like, they ended the tour in New England, and again,
Oh,
missed them. I missed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're sleeping hard on bands lately. That we gotta get out to see some of these bands because
crazy.
they're just so fantastic.
If you go to their website is so, it's so like, and I'm not knocking it. It's simplistic as hell, which I think kind of makes it funnier. You know what I mean? You know, I like it though. It's like it's easy to navigate. So
that's insane. These guys are
Yeah.
awesome though.
yeah, good. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I can't wait. So this also made me go down this huge rabbit hole of like hair metal now, like bands that do that shit now. And like I found quite a bit of thing between that and like psychedelic. I went down like a psychedelic rock hole as well, and a few other things. So yeah. So yeah, check out the in the album cover for Ravage.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like I don't know, is that a transformer?
No, it's just like a metallic looking
All right,
robot
cool.
panther.
Yeah, very 80s, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
I feel like this month has been pretty good with album covers too, you know, in addition to great music. So
Yeah.
check out the Cybertronic Spree. Cybertronic Spree, the album's called Ravage. All right.
So every once in a while, the picks we come up with, the X Factor we come up with, just kind of becomes an easy pick. And this month was really funny because it snuck up on me, and I didn't even put two and two together till I was driving home. But my pick was the artist Black Guy Fox, and so. I have not seen. So Black Guy Fox has performed, I believe, at the past couple of fests, or at Pooza Fest and at Fest last year. But I have not seen them play live, and so I don't know what the live act looks like. If it's just him solo, or if typically there's a band, or not. But I'd like to catch them the next time around. But Black Guy Fox is friends with my pal Val, who I was visiting up in Canada this past weekend. And as I was driving home, I realized that this fit our X Factor, I think, in a pretty clever way, even though Trev was disappointed.
All right, hold on.
Guy Fox being the ubiquitous mask that has existed for quite a while. This is really interesting. This is like unlike anything I've ever heard. I think it's folk punk, it's protest punk, but his vocals are like extremely. First of all, he's an amazing singer, but his vocals are also very theatrical in a different way. The whole vibe to this thing sounds like a musical. It sounds like a stage play. To me, I picture like an entire, like not a jukebox musical, but like an original musical, like set to this music. And I had a really difficult time picking which record I wanted to bring to the table. So this is Black Guy Fox's Life, Love, and the Bomb. He is from Maryland. And this record, it was so interesting. He has a newer EP that just came out called Intrusive Lullabies. And he also has, I believe, possibly a newer single that came out too. But this was like, I think the most recent full length.
It's full.
Yeah, there was a single, Gods and Monsters, but the full length that came out. And all of his music is quite different. The Intrusive Lullabies EP is much slower and much more kind of deep and like emotional. And then this record is very much it's protest punk in every way. He just does this really incredibly unique thing vocally, where like his chord progressions and his like vocal style and melodies sound like sort of big and smooth, and I just don't have another word for it besides like theatrical. Like this sounds like musical. It's like punk musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super curious to see what the live show looks and sounds like. Again, I don't know if this artist is. I don't know if it's generally a whole band performing or if it's just him playing solo. But yeah, an incredibly unique artist, someone who has some really powerful messages and has like a really unique way of delivering them. And so I think it's really cool that this fits into the punk space, but also can kind of cover other genres. So yeah, it was a really interesting pick, and it kind of came out of nowhere because I was talking with Val, and Val was talking about Black Guy Fawkes, and I was like, Guy Fawkes, that's our X Factor this month.
Yeah, this was good, dude. I've heard some of this before, not this album, and it was definitely more folky. So I was gonna ask you, like, does he do different things? And it seems like he does, right? And this album is a perfect example of that. And I think what plays into what you're saying about it being like almost like a musical vibe, right? Is like this, I don't know, quote unquote styles of like music are throughout this album, right? Like you have a folkier stuff in here, but then you have some like alternative in here. Then you have like, you know, like folk punk, and then some punk, and like, you know, and his voice is phenomenal, right? And like you said, almost like a I don't want to say pop voice, but like indie, like it's real clean. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like
it's real smooth, and like it's
Yeah.
it just again theatrical to me. It just sounds
yeah,
operatic, I guess, almost, you know.
yeah. And like this goes to like I'm always like it's just all rock and roll, right? It's all rock and roll. That's my big thing. I always say it.
Right.
And like this is a perfect example of that, because I mean you've got 5-minute songs, you've got 3-minute songs, you've got, is there a 2-minute on here? I don't think you have a 2-minute song on here, but like you've got songs that have like depth as far as like, I mean, they all have depth as far as content, right? What they're putting out, but like depth, like length. Some are longer than others, and like I feel like it's a good way. And this might play into that musical part as well. When you're like, so one of the biggest things on like screenwriting that I picked up on over the years was like, you want to write it like a roller coaster, up and down, right? You got your hills and your valleys, but you're going up and down, and then like the descent, like you're climbing, and then the descent is like fast, and it's kind of how the length of these songs, like how they're structured. You know what I mean? It's very much like that. I was a fan of this. I was a big fan of this, and like I said, I had listened to some of Black Guy Fawkes before, and I think what I heard was something that was like completely different, and it was a while ago. It was like probably like 2 years ago when I heard it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it looks like he's got some solo stuff on here as well, and then some full band stuff. It'd be interesting to see like what the performance is like. I would love to catch a show. I know A Day Without Love has done stuff with them. You know, so
yeah, similar vibes to A Day Without Love in some respects, and I think there's like you've got some heavier parts that come in there, full band, and yet consistently throughout his vocals maintain this like sort of presence that are it's just really interesting to me. It made me want to write a stage play to this record, you know, like write a story to go along with all this, which I think there is a story there anyway, but
yeah,
it was just really neat.
I wish I could remember what song. There was one song where I was just like, yes, like with the lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I had it with a lot of them, but like the first one that like, I think when I hit play, it didn't play from the beginning right away. It played like a different song first, and then I was like, yeah, you know. So, but yeah, this was a good one, dude. This was really good.
Yeah, everything you guys said, everything. I wrote on here. So when I was listening to it, exactly what you said, Jeff, about how like it's like the music itself has that kind of rock music, that kind of punk, that indie folk punk thing, but the vocals are doing this like Broadway musical thing, and it works together, right? Like it works in that we're familiarized by like how Green Day had that stage, the American Idiot thing, and then that became this thing, or even shows before that where they were starting to implement more of that kind of rock opera to Broadway and musical, and this does what I thought this was immediately. I was like, this is like the punk album for theater kids. Not in that, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they would love the whole way that he writes his melodies. It's like you're saying, like the way he's doing something with his vocals and the band's playing a certain way. There's something different in that, like I don't know, like if you've ever listened to theater music or musicals, you know, like their types of melody writing are not like what you typically hear on pop music or anything like that. It's a different style of singing and kind of melody, right?
Right.
And that's what this feels like. But throughout the whole thing, when you said that whole thing about writing a stage play for this to fit along, exactly. Like it feels like this needs to have some sort of visual production, a story to go with it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I want him to like, if you're listening, Ian, his name is Ian. Like I want him to like produce like a play of this or something, like just like
That'd be
it's
awesome.
like, yeah, like deliver it in that way. It would be like super cool. But yeah, very, very, one of the most unique sounding artists I've heard in quite a very long time. So next fest, if you're playing, I'll definitely catch your set.
Yeah, it was awesome. I dug it.
All right, Chris, explain it to me.
Alrighty. So what was your thing? Masks or what?
Masks or makeup?
There you go. I'm bringing Dream Kid to the table. We've had him on before, and he is someone who he's totally into like the 80s synth sound, right? And 80s pop synth sound, but he's also into making sure what he's presenting as a package. And this is something I read. I don't know if it was in an interview or maybe one of his Instagram posts, but he intentionally presents himself in an androgynous way, right? He wears makeup. I remember the first time I saw one of the videos, I didn't know if it was, what the gender was whatsoever, because he wore makeup and he has a certain look to him that it doesn't matter. It's just because it's like Dream Kid's Dream Kid, right? It doesn't matter if it's a she or a he, it's Dream Kid. And I think that was the whole point to what he does. And we talked about the album. We talked about how we really liked it. It had that 80s vibe. We were very into that whole synth thing and that kind of, the neon, the thing, the cyberpunk feel. And it just had that retro feel to it. Well, he just released a little EP that is just in time for the holidays, just in time for Halloween. It's a horror EP. It was basically inspired by the horror theme songs and synth soundtracks of the 80s horror films. And so he made his own little version. It's a three song EP called All Thriller, No Filler. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm already in, because I love horror movies. I do a podcast that's strictly about horror movies and especially 80s horror movies. I'm a big fan of John Carpenter. His work, especially when it came to using synths and just very kind of basic, themes, and really kind of exuding these feelings of like foreboding and dread. So already, I'm like, I'm going to get in on it. And it's Dream Kid, so I'm already a fan, but all three of these just are perfect to me. They just feel like they should be in an 80s horror film. One of them, I think it's the very last one, Run, Jennifer, Run, is the one that legit feels like an homage to John Carpenter. But yeah, dude, I absolutely loved it. It's got everything I'm looking for. The synth, the horror sound effects in the background, little things that he adds to it. Perfect for this time of year. Trev, we talked about this a lot on Chopping It Up, how much I love this time of year. And and
Halloweeny.
I'm a horror guy through and through, but like this time of year it just feels like it's a little bit more accentuated, and it's always nice to find new music to add to my vibe. And Dream Kid came in, man. He came in the pinch and knocked it out of the park. I love it.
Cool. I gotta ask, was one of these songs the ones that made it to Terrifier?
Yes, I believe so. I believe
Okay.
so.
All right, yeah, because like and like he blew up. Dream Kid has blown up since when we first discovered. You know,
Yeah.
Yep.
like now that he like his song was in Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
And
And his
Terrifier
poster.
3, Terrifier 3. Oh, his it was his poster.
Yeah, it's on his the song and his poster. His poster's on a wall like in one of the scenes.
The song is too? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah. So like since that happened and Terrifier 3 blew up like nationwide, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like the new generation's like, you know, Michael Myers is this or you know. I like there's a lot going. Like was it like the #1 movie in America? Like
Was it really? Wow.
I think that's terrifying. I think that's
Yeah.
despicable.
If that was the
number
number
one
one movie.
Yeah, what does that say
I
about
think it,
human
I
beings?
think it was. I think it was for a few weeks there. In like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, this was good. Obviously it was good. I was gonna like it, you know, and like you know what? It's funny because I forget that like Dream Kid wears makeup and stuff. So like I was like, what is this? This isn't like whoa, just because it's Halloween, you know. But you gave a great, you know, you explained it perfectly. Plus, like it does give like I mean it gives like a slasher vibe, right? So they always wear a mask. I don't you know, or makeup. I don't think any of the slashers was like look like you or me, you know.
No, not
Or
normally.
maybe me, I'm a big ugly goon, but you know, but like, yeah, no, this was really good. Other than like, I mean, it's just synth goodness and it's creepy and it's like, you know, it's perfect. Again, album cover, perfect. There's not much I can say that you hadn't already said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It definitely has an '80s horror vibe to it, and yeah, I'm here for it. It's only I don't know, euros. I don't know what GBP means, but
Oh, I think he's in I think he's from
London.
South Africa.
Yeah, but he's in London. Yeah.
Oh, he's in London. Okay.
Yeah. He is from South Africa. That's where he was born. Yeah.
yeah. So it's $3.89 in U.S. currency. That's not bad for, especially like if you've got a Halloween party, you could just put this on a loop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, so first of all, Trev, this was immediately when I saw it, I was like, it's called All Thriller, No Filler. So like even if you like just take that alone as a masks and makeup category, I think it fits
There you go.
perfectly well. And then yes, I like also in addition to that, famously Dream Kid does wear makeup and like a lot of costume type clothing. So when we first brought Dream Kid to the show, I think Chris brought him. We knew him for his reels the first thing that he was doing that kind of blew up were these reels that he'd make where he'd literally be like playing a short song and showing like block by block how he kind of builds the synths and drum pads and everything, and it'll say like it's 1983 and you just escaped the killer and you're running down the street in an alleyway, or it's 1986 and you and your girlfriend just broke up but you're having. So basically what he's doing is he's calling upon tropes from 80s films and very distinct scenes from 80s films and using that as inspiration for like the music that he was writing. And so it's like full blown 80s recreating the 80s in every way, in a theatrical way. And I've been blown away by everything that he's done. I've said multiple times, I've posted like that he should get hired for Stranger Things to score Stranger Things for their soundtrack. Super happy for him that his music made it into a film. And immediately when I heard this, what I thought of was, and I've mentioned this on the show before, the band Boy Harsher several years ago when I was working at the venue I used to work at screened a horror film that they made based on their music, and fans telling them that their music sounded like it was perfect soundtrack for a horror film.
Nice.
So they actually commissioned an independent horror film to be made, and it was fantastic. And so as soon as I heard this, I was like, oh, I wonder if he's got something in the works, like that, you know, he's collaborating with someone, they're going to do an 80s slasher film.
That'd be awesome.
You know, immediately it brings John Carpenter, Wes Craven, like it's like Cronenberg, like it's perfect 80s soundtrack, 80s horror soundtrack music, or even just like any 80s thriller even. But it sounds like it got picked up to be in Terrifier, so that's cool. So maybe he just kind of put it out there, and it'll lead to more commissions, like people actually commissioning him to write music for their films, which would be really cool. But I would love to see Dream Kid team up with an independent filmmaker and do an entire concept, like write a concept record and write a film around it or something like that.
Yeah, right.
The whole score. Oh man, that would be really good.
I really think, Trev, you should try to see if you can get him on the show, because we've talked about him so many. We've fanboyed out so many times about Dream Kid stuff. It's just really cool. It's really unique. No one else does exactly what he does, and it would be fantastic to talk to him and find out like his motivations for all this, and like really like how it got started. And
I mean, I've reached out before, but maybe now that we're a 3-time nominee,
do it again. Just keep doing it. Dream Kid, please be on the show.
I think when I reached out to was like when he really blew up, right? Where he just first blew up. So
yeah,
like, maybe he didn't but yeah.
Now you're gonna have to reach out to his people, his PR staff. But yeah, we love Dream Kid. Just fantastic stuff. He does it so well. It's so perfect. This little EP is like its own little horror movie soundtrack.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we made it through our X Factors. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll have our closing arguments. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and it's time to say goodbye, unfortunately. I always have fun doing these, and then I get sad when we're in the final segment, but, this was a great episode of, well, no, it wasn't. I bumbled my way through this episode. This was great picks, though, for the month of November. I really do. I loved everything on this, and I guess I'm going to go first with, I think I can only pick one, and I try not to pick my own, right? Sometimes it happens, but but I think the one that surprised me out of left field and I really dug was Chris's local pick. What was the name of the band again?
Personal Style.
Personal Style with False Memories. It just gave me too much of that 70s and like early 80s post-punk vibe. Made me want to dance while I was in my car. So that's going to be my pick for this week. I mean, this month.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think my favorite this month was, I think it was Dream Kid. I think it was Dream Kid. Yeah, it was just like perfectly right for the moment.
Nice.
All right.
I don't think it's a surprise. Mine was Cybertronic Spree. I just love the sound. Like I said, I love the sound of it. I just felt like I was a kid again.
I didn't know what you were gonna. I didn't know what to think. Like what you were thinking, and then when you started like just going in about Transformers, I'm like, oh yeah, I want him with that.
Dude, let me tell you, Erin is a huge fan of 80s hair metal. She absolutely loves 80s hair metal, like hardcore. And deep too, deep cut hair metals. Bands that are like aren't usually talked about in the conversation. And 70s metal she loves. But I can't wait to play it for her and see what she thinks. I'm not gonna tell her about the shtick. I'm just gonna have her listen to the music.
That's awesome. All right, all right. So let's. You want to do? I forget how we do this. Yeah, let's do the poll first, and then we'll do our promoting stuff.
Cool.
I'm gonna pick hair metal.
Oh.
For December.
All right.
Yeah. Because there are some. I went down a hole there. If you type it in, you'll find new bands that do that style of music, and it's really good. And you know what? I said this. Chris, I think you were in the chat when I was talking with Bree and Ron. Like, if doing hair metal in 2024 isn't punk rock, then I don't know what is. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'm going to be cliche because it's going to be the month of December, and I'm going to say anything ice themed. Ice.
My X Factor suggestion is dogs.
Ooh,
Specifically, anything to do with dogs.
very cool. That
What
might
about-
win it. That
what
might
about, like,
win it.
Could be the theme of the album, could be the theme of the cover art, could be the name of the band, the theme of the band, the song's subject matter.
Nice.
The band could be dogs. It could be an entire art. It could be just barking dogs. We'll see. We don't know.
Bringing the Pound Puppy theme song if that
There
wins.
you go.
Paw Patrol or something ridiculous. Dogs.
Nice, dude.
Cool. All right, we got our 3 for the poll. Hit up our Instagram, and you'll see it in the story when this drops. So as you're listening, I'll put it. Actually, I think it's better I do it the next day. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Sure.
It'll be up there. Just look for our Instagram. It'll be on there. That's Podcast TSA. At Podcast TSA on Instagram. All right, so let's promote some stuff. What do we got going on in our lives? I guess we will say again, and we have been nominated for the 3rd time for the Boston Music Awards. You can go to bostonmusicawards.com and go to the vote and fill out the thing and then vote for us. That would be cool.
Yes.
Please
do
do.
that.
Vote. You can check out. I'm playing a show Monday, November 11th at the Sill. If you're around, it's a Monday show. It's with 2 other cool solo artists. I think it's a 3-band bill, and it's gonna be fun. So come on out early on a Monday and hang out at the Sill
Nice.
Where is-
Nice.
in Alston.
Austin? Okay.
Yeah, the Silhouette Lounge in Alston.
I haven't
Brett
been
Nath.
I don't think I've been anywhere in Austin, so I should probably go.
Do it.
Fred?
Let's listen to 716 The Sound and go sign up for Patreon to listen to some of our other shows, including the radio show, and go see Jeff live. That's what I got to say.
All right, cool. Well, we're all right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for listening to me struggle all through this episode on my lack of sleep.
On brand.
Very on brand. And I guess we'll check you all out next month.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.